Initially, I didn't even want to try it out because I thought it's a Diablo / Path of Exile kind of game, and even though I appreciate that genre, I'm not 100% sold on it. But after playing it for like a few days, I understood that it's purely an MMORPG, and I ended up playing it for 8 hours a day, every day for the past month. And today, guys, I'm ready to give you my first impressions on Lost Ark. Yo guys, happy new year and welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna talk about my first impressions in Lost Ark. I've been playing the shit out of this game for the past 30 days and I'm really afraid that my first impressions are gonna disappear if I continue playing it, and I wanted to release this video today because I wanna get them while they're still fresh. I wanna tell you my first thoughts on Lost Ark before they get tainted by everything else that you can do in this particular game. So let's get going, guys. This is not gonna be a game review. I'm gonna have a game review, a full in-depth game review of Lost Ark in a couple of weeks from now, but today we're gonna talk about the first things that stuck to my head, the first things that I was looking for in Lost Ark, the first things that I was interested in. So I came to Lost Ark with a specific plan. I wanted to see 4 things. Number 1, is it a Diablo game? Is it like a Diablo Path of Exile, like exactly like that, or is it an MMORPG? Because I was very confused. Number 2, I wanted to see if it's pay to win, coming from a lifetime of Aeon. Pay to win bullshit gets to your head, so you need to check if games are pay to win before you commit to them. Number 3, PvP. Number 4, PvE. Simple and straightforward. I didn't care about anything else, from character creation to what classes there is in the game, if there's healers and tanks or not, if there's daily quests, islands, boats, ships, Captain Saivo, and any other things like that. So I just wanted simply to make my first impressions on Lost Ark based on the 4 things I just told you, and because of that we're gonna talk about those 4 things I just mentioned. First thing, is it like Diablo and Path of Exile? Absolutely not. It is a pure MMORPG. Officially it's called an isometric MMORPG, right? But it's just like any other MMORPG that you've played. Guild Wars, Terra, Aeon, whatever. The only difference is that it has a different camera angle. It's not over the shoulder, right? It's from the side or from up and the side and stuff like that, as it is in Path of Exile and Diablo. So that is why I was confused. Wow, is this game like Diablo or is it an MMORPG? No, it's an MMORPG with a different camera angle, period. Another first impression that this game left me was in regards to the cash shop. I was very worried that the cash shop might be pay to win, however, it is definitely not. In the whole cash shop, there are 2 items, guys. 2, that's it. One of them gives you some consumables that you need in order to finish some hard 4-man PvE content. Those consumables that you get in this particular box that costs, let's say, real money, you get also from in-game. They are craftable. It's not like in Aeon where, for example, you need 4k DP jelly, the only places in the cash shop. You need 20% HP pots, the only places in the cash shop. No, they are in the cash shop. However, they are also craftable. They are also tradable. Very important. If someone else wants to buy from the cash shop, you can take advantage of the wallet warrior and buy it from them, from the broker. So they have a great way of doing the cash shop. I fully approve their current cash shop, the way it is now, the way it is in Korea. I approve it 100%. Coming from Aeon, guys, this is God sent. It's just like you're in heaven in Lost Ark in terms of cash shop, yeah? The second item is something that would automatically complete you a daily quest. You can buy it from the cash shop. Daily quests are obviously important to do. It's just like kind of like the garrisons in Aeon. So if you would have, let's say in Aeon cash shop, an item that would complete both of your garrison weekly quests from a specific garrison, that's kind of the thing that happens in Lost Ark also. Obviously, you don't have to use the item, you can just do the daily quest by yourself. It's not that complicated, it just takes time. But if you want to save time, this is the second mildly pay to win item that I found in the Lost Ark cash shop. And that's about it. And even if these 2 items contribute and give you a slight advantage in terms of other players that don't want to do the cash shop, they want to just craft those items or buy them from someone else, from the broker, and so on and so forth, even if that gives you an advantage, it gives you the advantage only in PvE, not in PvP. And speaking of PvP, let's just get going to the third thing that made my first impressions in this game, the PvP. The second I hit level 50, I queued up for PvP. And I can tell you it was a very bizarre experience for the first 20 or 30 or 40 matches, something like that. I was a little bit frustrated at times, and at other times I was like, what the fuck am I doing wrong? Why am I always having sex with the floor? Because I was always either knocked down or stunned or paralyzed or frozen or God knows what happened to me, but I could barely get off one skill. Eventually I did understand that you cannot just herder in this game and just go YOLO and just fuck everyone up and just go in the middle of people and non-stop press your skills. I understood that this game is a little bit more about doing chains and having the right chains that stun the opponent in the right times, in the right ways, instead of just pressing your skills and trying to DPS him down. So when I understood that, and when I understood that the PvP combat is so awesome that you actually need to take a breather in between your chains until the next chain comes up and you can use it again so you can have a full combo, then at that point, when I understood that, my life became much better in PvP, and I actually started to feel much better. In terms of PvP, guys, it is absolutely fair. It is so fair that you cannot even use potions or any other consumables, foods, big potions, small potions, whatever. So there's no potions in PvP, there's no consumables, it's just you and your HP, and there's no healing in the game besides one skill, and it's an elite from the Bard, and that's about it. Simple as that. PvP, super fair, guys. Gear also in terms of PvP does matter a little bit in terms of what stats you roll. On your character, there's like a variety of stats: agility, endurance, stamina, crit strike, and so on and so forth, right? So depending on how you roll your stats, if you have 500 agility and 500 crit strike, then you're going to move really fast, your skill cooldown is going to be really lowered, and you're going to have a lot of crit, right? And then those stats also apply in PvP. There is no PvP attack and PvP defense and this kind of bullshit in the game. However, stats and the rolled stats, the way you roll them, do matter. Also, another thing that matters is a sort of, how can I tell you this, some runes, right? Those runes, how you get them is by playing PvP. So the more PvP you play, the more you unlock these runes that you can later equip 3 of them on your PvP build, which has nothing to do with PvE, it just has something to do with PvP. 20-30 matches of PvP, you've basically unlocked all of your runes, and then you can use them as you wish, you can make your build as you wish. And this is how PvP works. It is super simple. I also loved the way they thought about PvP, right? They have 3v3s, guys. So they have 6-man PvP. 6-man is the number that Koreans in Lost Ark love the most, because there is PvP 1v1 v1 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 v1, so your team, one at a time, the second at a time, and the third, they play against each other, and the winner stays in the arena. If my guy number 1 has won his duel, then he plays this is not right, then he plays with the second guy in my enemy team, and if he wins again, then he plays with the third guy in the enemy team, and he keeps staying, and I don't even get to play if this guy, the first one, is so good. That's how one mode works. Absolutely love that mode. Super competitive. You don't get healed at the end of the round. You stay with your current HP. Your skill cooldowns don't reset or anything like that. So if you win your first match, in your second match it might be harder because you might have 50% HP from the first guy. So it is absolutely clutch, absolutely brilliant way of doing PvP. 100%, well, wait, let me not exaggerate, 95% fair, yeah, because gear does still matter a little bit, but if you have a little bit more skill than the other guy that has a little bit more gear than you, your skill is valued higher than him having better gear. That's what I'm trying to say, and the way you play your class, and obviously most importantly, not most importantly, but very importantly, your ping. Also super important in 1v1 PvP, this mode. There is another mode, 3v3 all 6 at the same time in the arena. You just kill each other, so you can make some very nice plays with your friends there. Hey, you queue up as a bard, I queue up as a warlord, we're gonna protect each other, and so on and so forth. You can focus on one guy, etc, etc. Very nice mode as well. A little bit just a little bit bullshitty, more bullshitty than the 1v1v1 kind of mode. And then there's a third mode that I have not played more than 2 matches of, and that is all 6 in the same arena, and each of them in their own team. So basically it's you and you have 5 enemies, which are the other 5 players, and they see you as an enemy as well. So that's how it is. Everyone for themselves, basically a free-for-all kind of mode. I don't really understand why anyone would actually play that mode. Maybe, I don't know, maybe if you're a class that just AoEs the shit and he doesn't really care, like the Chaos Arena in Aeon, that was bullshit also. I didn't personally like it. Maybe there's some people who like it. However, very satisfied with my first impressions over the PvP. Of course, there are classes and classes. There's classes that perform better. There's classes that are easier to play and do good on. Currently on the Korean servers, the PvP ranking kind of looks like this. So it's full of warlords and bards in the first 10 players of the game. So it's a little bit weird because of the class balance that needs to be slightly adjusted here, slightly adjusted there. I believe that Lost Ark is going to feel a little bit like Guild Wars, where this class is much better now than this class, and then this class here is much better in the next patch, better than this class. So I feel it's gonna be like that. It's gonna depend on class balance and player skill much more than anything else. Let's go to PvE, guys. PvE, also I wanted it to be challenging because I thought, hey, fuck it, you know what? 2019 game, I really want a lot from this game. I want everything from this game. I want it to be perfect. Well, Lost Ark is not perfect, and again, we're gonna talk about everything Lost Ark in future videos in detail. However, let me talk about the PvE now. PvE is a lot of fun, and it involves a lot of skill, and it involves practice to understand and learn the mechanics. The combat in the game is kind of like an action combat, only your mouse is not like locked like in Terra, for example, and you turn with your mouse. You can actually move with your mouse, but the combat is action based. It's not static by any means. There are obviously skills that keep you in place. In terms of what's to do in PvE, there is hard mode versions of dungeons. There is raids, right? They call them raids, but it's a little bit misleading. Initially I was very happy to hear, oh wow, four man dungeons. That means the raids are 8 man, right? Because usually the raids are double as a party or quadruple as a party. So I thought raids can be either 8 man or 16 man. Wow, nice one, I can play with my friends. No, guys, raids are also 4 man. Not sure why they call them raids. Maybe they don't even call them raids. Maybe it's just a stupid translation. However, these raids are also 4 man, like a monster hunt, right? Like in Dauntless, like in Monster Hunter, the game. You go in there and there's a big ass boss and you kill its tail, and then he becomes weaker, and then you move to the back, you do more damage. It's action combat, there's no healer, everyone needs to dodge and put shields at the right time, and so on and so forth. DPS hard. You have a timer, 20 minutes for every raid. You need to be good geared. You have 3 deaths allowed for 4-man party. So if I die, if my friend dies, and if my wife dies, then we have one more guy that cannot die, because if that guy dies, the raid is completely over, the boss disappears, and you're out of the party. That's it, period, simple. So it is very challenging. It has content for hardcore players and also for casual players. I like a lot of other things that are in Lost Ark. I have a lot of other things that I saw and that are in my head as a first impressions. However, in terms of group PvE, I really appreciate it. I've done some of the raids, not all, because there is an item level that locks you out of some raids. If you don't have that particular item level, then you're gonna do like 50% less damage or 60% less damage, and you're also not going to get as much loot, even if you can get carried. That is a thing that they put in place for people not to get carried by their 3 GG friends. Obviously, with so many pluses, guys, there are also minuses about which we're gonna talk in future videos. I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys with my Lost Ark experience, because as I've told you before, I want a lot from a 2019 brand new fresh game that has cost 100 million euros and that has been in development for 7 years. I have very high expectations from this game. I had very high expectations when I joined. I wanted nothing but exceptional, and I'm gonna tell you everything about this game because I found it so far to be nothing but exceptional. And that's about it for my Lost Ark first impressions, guys. I thank you so much for watching. I thank you so much for being part of my YouTube family in 2019 as well. This year, boys, we're gonna be discovering Lost Ark together. I don't even care if this game is coming or not to the West or when it's coming. All I care is that it's too good of a game for me to pass out on the opportunity of talking about it on my YouTube channel and sharing all of this goodness from Lost Ark with you guys here. So thank you again so much. I will see you very soon in about 3 days from now with my first episode of Discovering Lost Ark. Lots of love, guys, as always, and thanks for watching.